Part 1, where our story begins. Close your eyes now, and let yourself drift to a place where the air smells of jasmine and cardamom, where colors dance more vibrantly than anywhere else in the world, and where love stories unfold against a backdrop of ancient traditions and modern dreams. Tonight, we travel to India, to the bustling, beautiful, chaotic heart of Mumbai, where our story begins. Take a deep breath, and let the tensions of your day melt away. Feel yourself sinking deeper into comfort as we enter a world of romance, laughter, and the sweet inevitability of two souls meant to find each other. Our story begins with Aanya Sharma, a 28-year-old woman with dreams as big as the Arabian Sea that kisses Mumbai's western shore. Aanya lives in a cozy apartment in Bandra, a neighborhood where old bungalows with terracotta roofs stand proudly beside gleaming new buildings, where street vendors sell fresh coconut water alongside artisanal coffee shops, where tradition and modernity waltz together in perfect harmony. Each morning, Aanya wakes to the sound of crows calling from the neem tree outside her window, their calls mixing with the distant honking of traffic and the melodic call of the vegetable vendor pushing his cart down the lane. She stretches in her bed, the cotton sheets soft against her skin, and watches the golden morning light filter through her curtains, painting everything in shades of amber and honey. Anya's apartment is small but filled with personality. Books line every available surface, spilling from shelves onto the floor, stacked on her bedside table, propped open on the kitchen counter. She has always loved stories, always believed in the magic of words to transport you somewhere else, to make you feel things you've never felt, to introduce you to people you'll never forget. She works at a charming bookstore cafe in Bandra called Kitab or Chai, Books and Tea. The shop occupies the ground floor of an old Portuguese-style building, with high ceilings, tall windows, and walls painted the color of old rose. The smell of freshly brewed masala chai mingles with the vanilla scent of aging paper, creating an aroma that regular customers claim is better than any perfume. Aanya loves her job, loves recommending books to customers, loves the quiet afternoon hours when rain drums against the windows during monsoon season and customers curl up in the reading nooks with steaming cups and paperback novels. But she also has bigger dreams. She's been writing a novel for 3 years now, working on it in stolen moments, crafting a story about a woman who travels across India finding herself one city at a time. She lives alone, having moved out of her parents' home 2 years ago, a decision that caused considerable family drama, but which she needed to do to feel like her own person. Her parents, loving but traditional, lived just 20 minutes away in Andheri, close enough to visit every week but far enough that Aanya can eat dinner at 10 p.m. if she wants, or dance around her apartment in her pajamas, or simply sit in silence without anyone asking if she's okay or if she's eaten or when she's planning to get married. Ah yes, marriage. The topic that dominates every family gathering, every phone call with her mother, every auntie encounter at the grocery store. At 28, Aanya is, according to various relatives, getting on past prime age, and too picky. Never mind that she has a career she loves, friends who make her laugh until her stomach hurts, hobbies that fulfill her, and a life that feels full and meaningful. In the eyes of traditional Indian society, a woman isn't complete until she's married. Aanya doesn't reject marriage entirely. She simply rejects the idea that it should be her only goal, her defining achievement, the thing that gives her life meaning. If she meets someone wonderful, someone who makes her heart race and her mind engage, someone who respects her dreams and wants to build new dreams together, then yes, she'd love that. But she refuses to marry just to tick a box on society's checklist. Her best friend, Priya, married 2 years ago in a wedding so lavish it made celebrity weddings look modest. 700 guests, 3 days of celebrations, enough gold jewelry to stock a small shop, and a groom that Priya had met exactly twice before the engagement. Miraculously, it worked out. Priya and Vikram fell in love after marriage, and now they finish each other's sentences and hold hands while walking down the street and make Anya believe that maybe, just maybe, there are many different paths to love. But that doesn't mean Anya wants to follow the same path. She wants the falling in love part to come first, wants to choose her own person, wants the romance and the butterflies and the getting to know you phase before committing to forever. Let yourself relax even more deeply now, as we settle into Anya's world. Feel the softness beneath you, the comfort surrounding you, and know that you're safe and peaceful here, in this story, in this moment. It's a warm October evening when our story truly begins. The monsoon has finally ended, leaving the city washed clean and sparkling. The oppressive heat of summer has broken, and the air carries that perfect quality of being warm enough to be comfortable but cool enough to be refreshing. This is the best time of year in Mumbai, when the city seems to exhale with relief and everyone spends as much time as possible outdoors. Anya is in her apartment, reluctantly getting ready for her cousin Mira's wedding. The outfit laid out on her bed is a beautiful lehenga in shades of turquoise and silver, with intricate embroidery that catches the light. The heavy skirt, the fitted blouse, the long flowing dupatta, it's gorgeous, but it's also a lot of effort. Anya loves Indian clothes, loves the colors and the craftsmanship, but she also knows that once she puts this outfit on, there's no comfortable sitting, no casual eating, no relaxing for the next 6 hours. She's debating whether she absolutely must go when her phone rings. Her mother. Anya, you're coming to the wedding, yes? Please tell me you haven't forgotten. Hi, Mom. Yes, I'm getting ready now. Don't be late, Beta. And please try to smile. You know how many people will be there. And you know how they talk. Priya's mother was just saying yesterday how happy Priya is, how well settled, and I had to just smile and nod while inside I was thinking, why not my Anya? Anya closes her eyes and takes a deep breath, practicing the patience she's cultivated over years of similar conversations. Mom, we've talked about this. I know. You have your career, your independence. But Beta, I just want you to be happy. And maybe at the wedding, you'll meet someone nice? These events are good opportunities. I'm not going to the wedding to meet someone, Mum. I'm going to celebrate Mira's happiness. Yes, of course. But there's no harm in looking nice and being open to possibilities, no? After promising to be on time and to wear her hair down because it looks nicer that way, Anya hangs up and finishes getting ready. She applies her makeup carefully, lining her eyes with kohl and adding a touch of red to her lips. She drapes her dupatta over one shoulder, secures it with a jeweled pin, and slips into uncomfortable but beautiful silver heels. Looking at herself in the mirror, she has to admit she looks good. The turquoise brings out the warm brown tones in her skin, and the silver catches the light and makes her feel a little bit like a princess from one of the fairy tales she loved as a child. The wedding is being held at a 5-star hotel in South Mumbai, one of those grand old colonial buildings that's been converted into a luxury venue. By the time Anya arrives, the celebrations are in full swing. The entrance is decorated with thousands of marigold flowers strung into garlands and woven into elaborate archways. The scent is overwhelming, sweet and earthy and distinctly Indian. Inside, the wedding hall is transformed into a fantasy landscape. Crystal chandeliers cast dancing light across tables draped in gold fabric. The stage where the bride and groom will sit is decorated to look like a garden at twilight, with fairy lights woven through jasmine vines and roses in every shade of pink and white. Hundreds of guests mill about in their finest clothes, women in silk saris and heavy jewelry, men in embroidered sherwanis and crisp kurtas, children in miniature versions of traditional dress, running between tables and stealing sweets from platters. The music is loud, a mix of Bollywood hits and traditional wedding songs, and several aunties are already on the dance floor, swaying with abandon, having claimed their territory early. Anya spots her parents at a table near the front, her father looking dignified in a cream sherwani, her mother resplendent in a red silk sari with gold jewelry that's been passed down through 3 generations. She makes her way over, greeting relatives and family friends along the way, accepting compliments on her outfit and deflecting questions about her own marriage plans with practiced ease. She's become quite skilled at changing the subject, at asking about someone else's life, at making a joke that shifts the conversation away from her single status. "There's my beautiful daughter," her father says warmly, standing to embrace her. Her father has always been the gentler parent, more accepting of her choices, more willing to let her find her own path. "You look lovely, Beta." "Thanks, Papa." Her mother is less subtle in her approval. "Finally, you dress like a proper Indian girl. See? This is how you should always look. Now let me introduce you to—" "Mum, please. Let me at least get something to eat first." But her mother is already waving someone over, and Anya prepares herself for another awkward introduction to someone's eligible nephew or grandson or younger brother. This is the hazard of Indian weddings when you're single. They become less about celebrating the couple and more about auditions for your own potential match. Part 2. The Collision. Let your breathing slow and deepen now, as we move into the heart of our story. Feel yourself drifting on the current of the tale, safe and warm and completely at ease. Anya escapes her mother's matchmaking by volunteering to check on the seating arrangements for elderly relatives, a task that sounds important but really just gives her an excuse to wander. She's making her way through the crowd, balancing a plate of pakoras and trying not to spill her mango lassi, when it happens. She rounds a corner near the entrance to the garden where the cocktail hour is being held, and collides directly with someone coming from the opposite direction. The impact is solid, unexpected. Her lassi goes flying, arcing through the air in what seems like slow motion before splashing directly down the front of someone's very expensive-looking navy blue sherwani. "Oh my God!" Anya gasps, watching the yellow-orange liquid seep into the embroidered fabric. "I'm so sorry, I wasn't looking where I was." She looks up, ready to face an angry relative, and finds herself staring into the most striking pair of eyes she's ever seen. They're the color of good whiskey, amber with flecks of gold, framed by thick lashes, and currently widened in surprise. The man wearing the now ruined sherwani is tall, with the kind of face that would look at home on a Bollywood movie poster. Sharp jawline, high cheekbones, thick dark hair styled carefully back from his forehead. He's holding his arms slightly away from his body, looking down at the damage with an expression somewhere between shock and amusement. "I am so sorry," Anya repeats, grabbing napkins from a nearby table and then hesitating, unsure whether she should try to dab at his chest or if that would be wildly inappropriate. It's okay, he says, and his voice is deep, warm, with a hint of laughter in it. Though I have to say, this is the most dramatic introduction I've had in a while. I really wasn't looking. I was trying to avoid my mother, who's trying to set me up with someone's cousin, and I just... Anya stops, realizing she's babbling. Sorry, you don't need my life story. Here, take these napkins. He takes them with a small smile, dabbing uselessly at the stain. Trying to avoid matchmaking, huh? I can relate. I'm hiding from my aunt who wants to introduce me to someone named Simran who apparently is very pretty and very accomplished, and very available. Despite her mortification, Anya feels a laugh bubble up. Simran. That's a classic Indian matchmaking name. Very Bollywood. Right? I feel like I'm in a movie my parents would watch. Next, she'll tell me Simran loves long walks and making round rotis. And that she's fair-skinned and homely. Anya adds, using the Indian meaning of homely, good at housework, which always confuses Americans. Exactly. He's fully smiling now, and it transforms his face from handsome to something more approachable, more real. I'm Rohan, by the way. Rohan Kapoor. I'm friends with the groom, Arjun. Anya Sharma. I'm the bride's cousin. Well, Anya Sharma, you've certainly made an impression. Though I should warn you, this sherwani was a rental, and I'm pretty sure mango lassi stains don't fall under normal wear and tear. Anya's eyes widen in fresh horror. Oh no, I'll pay for the cleaning, of course. Or replacement if it can't be cleaned. I'm joking, Rohan interrupts gently. It's fine. Really. I'll change into my backup outfit. You have a backup outfit? Doesn't everyone for a wedding? At her look, he grins. Okay, maybe I'm just paranoid about wardrobe malfunctions. Or maybe I'm prescient, given current circumstances. There's a moment where they just look at each other, and Anya feels something flutter in her chest, something light and unexpected. Then reality crashes back in. She's just destroyed this man's clothes. She's standing here with an empty cup and a useless plate of pakoras. And there are probably a dozen relatives watching this interaction and already planning her wedding to this stranger. I should let you go change, she says, stepping back. Again, I'm really sorry. Don't be. This is already more interesting than most wedding small talk. He starts to walk past her, then pauses. Though maybe later, after I've changed, you could save me a dance? As recompense for the lassi attack? Anya feels her cheeks warm. I think I'm the one who should be offering something as compensation. Consider it compensated then. One dance later tonight? Okay, she finds herself saying. One dance. He flashes another smile and heads off toward the hotel rooms, leaving Anya standing in the corridor, her heart beating faster than it should be, a smile on her face that she can't quite suppress. The rest of the cocktail hour passes in a blur. Anya finds herself distracted, her eyes scanning the crowd for a tall figure in a navy sherwani. She tells herself she's just checking to make sure he managed to clean up okay, that she's being responsible about the accident, but deep down she knows she's looking for another glimpse of those amber eyes and that easy smile. She catches up with Priya, who's glowing in a rose-pink sari, her hand resting on her slightly rounded belly. She's 3 months pregnant and radiantly happy about it. Was that Rohan Kapoor I saw you talking to? Priya asks with a knowing look. I spilled lassi all over him, Anya admits. Please tell me he's not someone super important who I've now offended. Priya laughs. He's an architect. Works for one of the big firms in the city. Vikram knows him through some business connection. He's actually really nice, and single, if you're wondering. I wasn't wondering. Sure you weren't. That's why you've been scanning the room for the past 20 minutes. I have not. Anya, I've known you since we were 5. You get this little crease between your eyebrows when you're looking for something. You have the crease. Anya consciously smooths her forehead. Okay, fine. He seemed nice. And he did ask me to save him a dance later. Priya squeals, causing several nearby relatives to turn and stare. This is perfect. I mean, not the lassi incident, but the meeting. You need to dance with him. And talk to him. And get his number. Priya, it was one conversation. He probably just felt bad for me because I was so mortified. Or he thought you were beautiful and interesting and worth asking to dance. Stop selling yourself short. Before Anya can respond, they're called into the main hall for the ceremony. Indian weddings are elaborate, multi-stage affairs, and tonight is the main ceremony, the Feras, where the bride and groom will circle the sacred fire 7 times, making 7 promises to each other. The ceremony is beautiful, as wedding ceremonies always are. Meera looks stunning in a red and gold lehenga, her hands decorated with intricate mehendi, her face glowing with happiness and nervousness in equal measure. Arjun looks at her like she's the only person in the world, and Anya feels that familiar mix of emotions that comes with watching people you love get married, happiness for them, hope for love's possibility, and a tiny bit of loneliness that you're still waiting for your own story to begin. The pundit chants Sanskrit verses that have been spoken at weddings for thousands of years, and smoke from the sacred fire rises into the air, carrying prayers and promises with it. Anya thinks about all the couples who have made these same vows, all the love stories that have started with this ceremony, all the lives that have been joined in this sacred way. The ceremony lasts over an hour, and by the time it ends, Anya's feet hurt from standing in heels, and she's ready for dinner. The reception dinner at an Indian wedding is an event unto itself. Long tables piled with food, dozens of dishes representing different regions of India, from Punjabi butter chicken to Bengali fish curry to South Indian dosas, from Gujarati dakla to Rajasthani dal bati to Goan vindaloo. Anya fills her plate with a little bit of everything, finding a quiet corner where she can eat without fielding marriage questions. She's halfway through her tandoori chicken when a familiar voice says, "Is this seat taken?" She looks up to find Rohan standing there, now dressed in a different outfit, a deep green kurta with subtle gold embroidery, paired with cream-colored churidar. He looks even better than before, if that's possible. "It's all yours," she says, and he settles into the chair beside her, his own plate loaded with food. "So I've been thinking," he says, picking up a piece of naan, "about the best way to get even with you for the lassi incident." Anya's eyes widen. "I thought you said it was fine?" "It is fine. But that doesn't mean I can't have a little fun with it." His eyes are twinkling with mischief. "I was thinking you could owe me a favor." "What kind of favor?" "Nothing sinister, I promise. Just the next time one of our relatives tries to set us up with some random person, we pretend to be together. You know, to get them off our backs." Anya nearly chokes on her rice. "You want us to fake date?" "Not date, exactly. Just be each other's convenient excuse. Your mom tries to introduce you to someone? Sorry, you're seeing someone. My aunt corners me about Simran? Apologies, I'm already spoken for. It's ridiculous. It's the kind of thing that happens in movies, not real life. And yet, looking at his playful expression, thinking about all the awkward setups she's endured, all the intrusive questions about when she'll get married, Anya finds herself considering it. That's actually kind of brilliant, she admits. Right? And we're already here together, so we have witnesses if we need to prove it. Plus, you seem cool, I seem relatively normal. We could pull it off. This is insane. But also potentially very useful. Anya laughs, shaking her head. Okay, but some ground rules. 1. This is purely practical, not actually romantic. 2. We tell no one the truth. If people find out, the embarrassment would be worse than the matchmaking. 3. We can call it off any time either of us wants to. Agreed on all counts. He holds out his hand. Partners in crime? She shakes it, feeling the warmth of his palm against hers, the firmness of his grip. Partners in crime. What she doesn't say, what she barely admits to herself, is that shaking his hand sends a little thrill through her, that she's looking forward to spending more time with him, that maybe, just maybe, this fake arrangement might turn into something real. Part 3. The Bookstore and the Blueprint. Let yourself sink deeper into the story now, feeling the comfort of your bed, the softness of your pillow, the gentle pull of sleep at the edges of your consciousness. We continue our tale as Anya and Rohan's unusual arrangement begins to unfold. The morning after the wedding, Anya wakes with a slight headache from dancing too late, and a memory of warm amber eyes that makes her smile despite herself. She and Rohan had danced several times, talked for hours, exchanged phone numbers with a promise to coordinate their fake relationship stories. She tells herself she's smiling because the plan is clever, not because she enjoyed his company far more than she expected to. She goes through her Sunday morning routine, making chai in the small pot her grandmother gave her, adding exactly the right amount of ginger and cardamom, letting it simmer until the whole apartment smells like home. She takes her cup to the small balcony that overlooks the street, watching the city wake up. A man sells newspapers on the corner, his call of Times, Hindu, Express, mixing with the sound of temple bells from somewhere down the lane. A street dog stretches in a patch of sunshine, yawning widely before settling back down to sleep. Her phone buzzes with a message from Rohan. Survived the post-wedding breakfast interrogation by mentioning I'd met someone interesting last night. My aunt nearly died of excitement. How's your morning? Anya grins and types back. Haven't faced my parents yet, but I'm sure it's coming. Should we get our story straight? Coffee sometime this week? The response comes quickly. Perfect. I know a place in Bandra. Wednesday afternoon work for you? They make plans to meet at a cafe near the bandstand, a popular promenade along the seafront where couples walk hand in hand and street vendors sell corn on the cob and cold drinks. Anya spends the next 3 days trying not to think too much about the meeting, trying not to wonder what she'll wear, trying not to read too much into the fact that she's excited to see him again. Wednesday arrives warm and clear, with a breeze coming off the ocean that carries the scent of salt and fried food and possibility. Anya chooses a simple cotton kurti in sky blue paired with white jeans, casual but pretty. She leaves her hair loose and applies just a touch of makeup, enough to look put together, not enough to seem like she's trying too hard. The cafe Rohan suggested is called Sea Breeze, a charming place with outdoor seating on a terrace that overlooks the Arabian Sea. Anya arrives 5 minutes early, nerves fluttering in her stomach in a way that she tells herself is ridiculous. This isn't a date. This is a planning session for their fake relationship. There's no reason to be nervous. But when Rohan arrives, striding across the terrace in jeans and a crisp white shirt, his hair slightly tousled by the wind, her heart does a little skip that has nothing to do with planning and everything to do with the way he smiles when he sees her. "You found it okay?" he asks, settling into the chair across from her. "It's lovely. I've never been here before. It's one of my favorite spots in the city. I come here sometimes when I need to think, or when a design isn't working and I need to clear my head." They order cold coffee for her, filter coffee for him, and a plate of brun maska to share, the Parsi bread with butter that's a Mumbai staple. Once the waiter leaves, Rohan pulls out his phone and opens a notes app. "Okay, so I've been thinking about our cover story," he says, and Anya has to laugh. "You made notes? I'm an architect. I plan everything." He grins. "But seriously, we should have consistent details. When did we meet?" "At the wedding." "Right, but did we exchange numbers that night or did we connect on Instagram first or what?" Anya considers. "Numbers that night. More traditional, fits with our family's expectations." "Good point. And we've been texting since then, getting to know each other. What do I need to know about you?" "Real facts, so I don't accidentally contradict something." It's surprisingly easy to talk to him. Anya finds herself telling him about the bookstore, about her novel that she's been writing forever, about how she loves the monsoon season and hates cricket despite being Indian, which causes mock outrage. He tells her about studying architecture, about how he loves the challenge of designing spaces that work for real people's lives, about his mild obsession with old Bollywood movies and good street food. "So why are you single?" Anya asks, then immediately regrets the bluntness of the question. "Sorry, that was rude." "No, it's fair. We should know these things." He takes a sip of coffee, considering. "Honestly? I was engaged about 2 years ago. Her name was Neha. We'd been together since college, and everyone assumed we'd get married, including us. But as the wedding planning got more serious, we realized we wanted completely different things. She wanted to move to the US, wanted a traditional setup where I'd be the provider and she'd be the homemaker. I wanted to stay in India, wanted a partner who had her own career, her own dreams. We tried to compromise, but ultimately, we couldn't make it work. Called it off 6 months before the wedding. That must have been hard." "It was. But also right, you know? Better to realize it before the wedding than after." "What about you?" Anya tells him about her few relationships. The college boyfriend who couldn't handle her ambition, the fellow book lover who turned out to be more in love with the idea of dating someone literary than with actually dating her, the brief fling with an artist who was brilliant and passionate, and completely unreliable. "I think I'm just waiting for someone who gets it," she says. "Someone who understands that I can want a relationship and also want my own career, my own dreams. Someone who doesn't see my independence as threatening. That doesn't seem like too much to ask. You'd be surprised. Add in family pressure and traditional expectations, and it gets complicated fast." They talk for over 2 hours, long after their coffee and bread are finished, through the afternoon heat and into the cooler evening. They cover everything from favorite books to childhood memories to their thoughts on Mumbai's traffic to the best street food locations in the city. By the time they leave, Anya feels like she's known him for months, not days. Over the next few weeks, they fall into an easy pattern. They text daily, silly messages and photos and memes, maintaining the appearance of a budding relationship. But they also genuinely enjoy talking to each other, so the texts become more frequent, more personal, less about maintaining a cover and more about actually connecting. They meet for lunch at a small Irani cafe where the furniture hasn't been updated since 1960, and the tea comes in glass cups and the bun maska is perfect. They go to a photography exhibit at the Jahangir Art Gallery, wandering through rooms of black and white images of old Bombay, arguing about which photos capture the city's essence best. They watch a play at Prithvi Theatre, a comedy that has them both laughing until tears run down their faces. Anya introduces him to her friends, who are immediately suspicious of how perfect he seems but can't find any fault with him. He introduces her to his younger sister, Ria, a college student studying psychology who declares Anya way too cool for her brother and then proceeds to tell embarrassing childhood stories that leave Rohan red-faced and Anya charming. Part 4. The Architecture of Dreams. Breathe deeply now, letting the story wash over you like a warm wave, carrying you closer to sleep, to peace, to that soft place where dreams begin. One Saturday afternoon, Rohan invites Anya to his office. He wants to show her a project he's working on, and she's curious about his work, about this world of buildings and blueprints that she knows nothing about. His firm is located in Lower Parel, in one of the renovated mill buildings that now house tech companies and design studios and advertising agencies. The old industrial character remains. Exposed brick walls, high ceilings with visible beams, iron columns, but it's been transformed into something modern and creative. Rohan's desk is organized chaos, neat stacks of drawings, a computer with multiple monitors showing 3D renderings, small architectural models made of cardboard and balsa wood, coffee cups from every cafe in a 10-kilometer radius. His corner has a window that overlooks the city, and you can see all the way to the sea on clear days. So this is where the magic happens, Anya says, looking around with interest. If by magic you mean endless revisions and client meetings where people want things that defy the laws of physics, then yes. He pulls out a chair for her. But I do love it. Want to see what I'm working on? He shows her plans for a community center in a neighborhood in eastern Mumbai, an area that doesn't have many public spaces. The design is beautiful and thoughtful, flexible spaces that can be used for everything from children's classes to community meetings, natural light flooding in through carefully placed windows, materials chosen to be both durable and affordable. This is amazing, Anya says, studying the drawings. You can really see how much you care about the people who'll use this space. That's the point of architecture, I think. Or it should be. Not just making pretty buildings, but making spaces where people can live better lives, where community can happen, where someone walking by might feel just a little bit more hopeful. She looks at him, at the passion in his face as he talks about his work, and feels something shift in her chest. This isn't part of the arrangement, isn't part of the plan. But she's starting to realize that what began as a practical solution to family pressure is becoming something else entirely. He shows her more projects, a house he designed for a family in Lonavala, all glass and stone and terraces that frame views of the mountains. A restaurant in Colaba with a rooftop bar that he's particularly proud of. Sketches for a dream project. A library he hopes to build someday, with reading nooks and natural light and spaces designed specifically for losing yourself in stories. A library? Anya says softly. That's your dream project? Is that weird? No, it's perfect. It's just... I work in a bookstore, I'm writing a novel, books are basically my whole world. And you want to design spaces for books. It's like we make sense together? He finishes, and there's something in his voice that makes her heart beat faster. They look at each other for a long moment, the afternoon light streaming through the windows, the sounds of the city muted this high up, and Anya realizes they've crossed some invisible line. This isn't fake anymore. Maybe it never was. But before she can say anything, Rohan's phone rings. It's his mother, and he grimaces apologetically before answering. Anya watches his face change as he listens, watches tension creep into his shoulders. Okay, Mom. Yes. No, I understand. I'll talk to her. He hangs up and runs a hand through his hair. So, apparently, our fake relationship has become very real to our families. My mother and your mother have been talking. Oh no. Oh yes. And they think it would be wonderful if we all had dinner together. Both families. This Friday. Anya's stomach drops. Rohan, that's a lot. Meeting the parents officially. That's serious relationship territory. I know. We can say no. We can tell them it's too soon, or we can even come clean about the whole thing. But Anya thinks about her mother's excitement when she mentioned she was seeing someone, about how happy her parents have been these past few weeks, asking about Rohan, smiling when she gets texts, treating her like her life is finally on the right track. She thinks about ending that, about disappointing them again, about going back to being the daughter who's worrying them by being too independent and too picky. Or we could have the dinner, she hears herself say. It's just one evening. How hard can it be? Famous last words, she'll think later. Famous last words. The week leading up to the dinner passes too quickly. Anya stress cleans her apartment, changes her outfit 5 times, calls Priya in a panic at least twice. Priya, unhelpfully, thinks the whole situation is hilarious. So let me get this straight, Priya says, laughing. You started fake dating to avoid your parents' matchmaking, but now you actually like him, and you're meeting the parents, which is what you were trying to avoid in the first place? When you put it like that, it sounds ridiculous. Anya, it is ridiculous. But it's also kind of romantic. Like a Bollywood movie, but real. Real and terrifying. Just be yourself. They'll love you. And Rohan clearly already does, fake or not. He doesn't, we're not. Sure. Keep telling yourself that. Friday arrives with monsoon clouds building on the horizon, the air thick with the promise of rain. The dinner is at a restaurant in Bandra, an elegant place with white tablecloths and soft lighting and waiters who move like dancers. Anya arrives early, her stomach in knots, wearing a simple but elegant salwar kameez in deep purple. Rohan is already there, looking nervous and handsome in dark jeans and a gray shirt. When he sees her, his face relaxes into a smile. You look beautiful, he says, and something in the way he says it makes her think he's not just saying it for their family's benefit. You clean up pretty well yourself. I'm terrified. he admits. My mother has been planning this dinner in her head for weeks. She's already decided what kind of wedding we'll have and how many grandchildren we'll give her. My mother is the same. I think they've been coordinating. He takes her hand, and even though it's for show, even though their parents will be here any moment, it feels real. His palm is warm against hers, his thumb traces a small circle on her wrist, and Anya thinks, this is it. This is what it feels like when it's right. Their families arrive together, which is somehow both better and worse. Better because they don't have to do two separate greetings. Worse because it's suddenly very real and very overwhelming. Rohan's mother is elegant and sharp-eyed, the kind of woman who notices everything and forgets nothing. His father is quieter, with the same warm eyes as his son. Anya's parents are nervous excited, her mother dressed in her best sari, her father looking proud and paternal. The introductions are slightly awkward but warm. Everyone is on their best behavior, smiling too much, being overly polite. They settle at the table, and Anya finds herself seated between Rohan and her father, directly across from Rohan's mother, who is studying her with the intensity of someone conducting a job interview. So Anya, Rohan's mother says once they've ordered. Rohan tells me you work in a bookstore? There's something in the way she says bookstore that makes it sound like a hobby rather than a job, and Anya feels herself stiffen. But Rohan's hand finds hers under the table, a gentle squeeze of support. Yes, I manage Kitab or Chai in Bandra. It's a wonderful place. We host author readings, book clubs, children's story hours. I love it. And you're writing a novel? This from Rohan's father, with genuine interest. I am. It's taking longer than I hoped, but yes. What's it about? Anya explains her novel, a woman's journey across India, finding pieces of herself in different cities, learning that home isn't always a place but sometimes a feeling, sometimes a person. As she talks, she watches Rohan's parents' faces, sees genuine interest there, and starts to relax slightly. The conversation flows more easily as the meal progresses. They talk about Mumbai, about how the city has changed, about politics and movies and the perpetual traffic. Anya's mother tells embarrassing stories from Anya's childhood, and Rohan's mother counters with equally embarrassing stories about Rohan, and somehow, by dessert, everyone is laughing and comfortable. But then, inevitably, the conversation turns to the future. So, Anya's mother says, in that too casual tone that means she's about to say something momentous. Have you two thought about when you might make things official? Anya nearly chokes on her gulab jamun. Rohan's grip on her hand tightens. Mom, he says carefully, we've only been seeing each other for a few weeks. It's still early. But when you know, his mother chimes in. Your father and I knew within a week. Times have changed, Mom. People want to take things slower now. Too slow and the good ones get away. Anya's mother adds, smiling at Rohan in a way that makes it clear she considers him a good one. The parents exchange looks, and Anya can practically see them planning the wedding. She and Rohan need to slow this down, need to pump the brakes, but she's not sure how to do it without disappointing everyone at the table. We're happy just getting to know each other right now, Anya says firmly. There's no rush. Of course, her father says, ever the peacemaker. Let them enjoy this time. Everything else will happen when it's meant to. The dinner ends with promises to do this again soon, with both mothers exchanging phone numbers. Just in case we need to coordinate anything. with hugs and well wishes and the kind of happiness that makes Anya feel both warm and guilty. In the parking lot, after their families have left, Anya and Rohan stand by his car in silence for a moment. "That was intense," she finally says. "That was a preview of the rest of our lives if we don't figure out what we're actually doing here." "What are we doing here, Rohan?" He turns to face her fully, and in the glow of the streetlights, his eyes are dark and serious. "I think we're pretending something that's actually real. I think we started this as a solution to a problem, but somewhere along the way, at least for me, it stopped being fake." Anya's breath catches. "Rohan, I like you, Anya. Really like you. Not fake like you for our parents' sake. Actually like you. You're smart and funny and passionate about what you love, and I think about you all the time, and I'm pretty sure I'm falling for you, which wasn't part of the plan, but here we are." She should be panicked. She should be thinking about how complicated this makes everything, about how they've lied to their families, about how messy this could get. But all she can think about is how much she wants to kiss him. "I like you too," she whispers. "I have for weeks. Maybe from the moment you made jokes about your lassi-stained sherwani instead of being angry." He laughs, soft and relieved, and then he's pulling her closer, and she's rising on her toes, and they're kissing in a parking lot in Bandra while the first raindrops of a monsoon storm start to fall. It's not their first kiss. They've kissed before for a show, quick pecks when family members were watching. But this is different. This is real. His hand cups her face gently, her fingers curl into his shirt, and the rain falls harder, soaking them both, and neither of them cares. When they finally pull apart, both breathless and smiling, Rohan rests his forehead against hers. "So what do we do now?" he asks. "I think we stop faking and start for real. And we tell our families the truth, that we started as friends but we're becoming something more. Technically true. Technically true is the best kind of true." They kiss again, softer this time, sweeter, and Anya thinks that maybe the universe has a sense of humor. Maybe the fake relationship she started to avoid love has led her straight to it. Part 5. The Monsoon Season. Relax deeper now, feel yourself floating on the story like a boat on gentle waters, drifting toward the shores of sleep, safe and peaceful. The Mumbai monsoon is unlike anything else in the world. For 3 months, from June to September, the city transforms. Rain falls in sheets, turning streets into rivers, drumming on rooftops, washing everything clean and new. The air smells of wet earth and ocean and fried pakoras from street stalls. People carry umbrellas but don't really use them because what's the point when you're going to get soaked anyway? There's a particular joy in monsoon season, a sense of renewal, of possibilities. Anya has always loved the monsoon, but this year, experiencing it with Rohan, it feels magical in a new way. They take walks in the rain, share umbrellas that do nothing to keep them dry, eat hot corn on the cob from beach vendors while waves crash against the promenade. They sit in Anya's favorite chai stall during thunderstorms, watching lightning crack across the sky while sipping ginger tea that burns going down in the best way. Their relationship, no longer fake, blooms like the flowers that appear after rain. They fall into easy rhythms. Weekend breakfast at the Irani Cafe, evening walks along Carter Road, lazy Sunday afternoons where Anya writes at her laptop while Rohan sketches designs, comfortable in silence or comfortable in conversation. He comes to the bookstore often, ostensibly to read but really to watch her work, to see the way she lights up when recommending a book to a customer, the way she handles first-time visitors with patience and long-time customers with familiarity. He loves seeing her in her element, confident and capable, and so clearly doing what she was meant to do. She visits his office, bringing lunch, sitting in his corner while he works on designs, asking questions about load-bearing walls and natural light patterns and sustainable materials. She loves watching his hands as he draws, the way he gets completely absorbed in his work, the way he talks about buildings like they're living things with personalities and needs. They meet each other's friends officially. Anya's book club welcomes Rohan with only mild teasing and extensive questioning. Rohan's architecture school friends size Anya up over dinner and drinks, then proceed to embarrass Rohan with stories from their college days that leave Anya laughing so hard she cries. Everything should be perfect. And mostly it is. But there's an undercurrent of stress that neither of them talks about, the lie they told their families. It sits between them sometimes, this unspoken thing, this knowledge that their families think their relationship started differently than it did. We should tell them, Anya says one evening. They're at her apartment, the rain loud against the windows, old Bollywood songs playing softly from her speaker. Rohan is chopping vegetables for dinner, while Anya stirs tea on the stove. Tell them what? The truth. About how we started. About the fake dating. Rohan sets down his knife, turning to look at her. Why? What difference does it make now? We're together for real. Because it feels dishonest. Every time your mother talks about how romantic our beginning was, or my mother tells the story of us meeting at the wedding like it's fate, I feel guilty. But we did meet at the wedding. And we are together. The path was a little unconventional, but the destination is real. You don't think they deserve to know? He's quiet for a moment, considering. I think telling them would cause unnecessary hurt. They're happy. We're happy. Why complicate that? Because relationships should be built on honesty. Anya, we got together in a slightly unusual way. But so do lots of people. Should every couple tell their families every detail of how they got together? Every false start, every doubt, every moment of uncertainty? She knows he has a point, but it still bothers her. She likes things clear and honest and straightforward. This gray area makes her uncomfortable. They table the discussion, but it lingers in the air between them, coming up in little moments. When Rohan's mother mentions how lucky they are to have found each other so easily. When Anya's father talks about how nice it is that they both wanted a relationship at the same time. Part 6. Across India. Let your mind wander now with our characters as they journey across the beautiful landscape of India, each breath carrying you deeper into rest, each word a soft step toward sleep. In late September, as the monsoon starts to taper off, Rohan suggests a trip. He has to visit Jaipur for work, meeting with clients about a hotel renovation project, and wants Anya to come with him. They can turn it into a long weekend, explore the Pink City, take some time away from Mumbai and their families and the pressures of daily life. Anya jumps at the chance. She's always wanted to travel more, to see the India beyond Mumbai, to experience the diversity of landscapes and cultures that her country offers. And the thought of a romantic getaway with Rohan, of hotel rooms and tourist sites and time just for the two of them, makes her heart race. They fly to Jaipur on a Friday morning, leaving behind Mumbai's grey monsoon skies for Rajasthan's brilliant sunshine. The city welcomes them with color, the pink buildings that give it its nickname, the bright turbans worn by older men, the vivid saris of women shopping in bazaars, the orange-gold sunlight that makes everything glow. Rohan's business meetings take up most of Friday, so Aanya explores on her own, wandering through markets selling silver jewelry and block-printed fabrics and traditional mohari shoes with curled toes. She buys a light cotton dupatta in shades of rose and saffron, a pair of silver bangles that jingle when she moves, a small painting of an elephant decorated with traditional designs. That evening, after Rohan's meetings end, they visit the Hawa Mahal, the Palace of Winds, its facade covered in intricate latticework that allowed royal women to watch street life without being seen. The building glows pink-orange in the sunset, and tourists and locals alike pause to photograph it, to marvel at its beauty. Imagine the stories these walls could tell, Aanya says, looking up at the hundreds of small windows. All those women, watching life happen but not being part of it. Things have changed, Rohan says, taking her hand. Now you can be part of any story you want. Saturday, they visit the Amber Fort, taking an elephant ride up the steep path to the entrance, a controversial tourist experience but one Aanya has always wanted to try. The fort is magnificent, vast courtyards, mirror-work chambers that sparkle in the light, views over the hills and lakes that take your breath away. They get lost in the maze of rooms and corridors, finding hidden alcoves and shaded terraces. In one chamber covered entirely in tiny mirrors, where even the smallest flame would reflect 1,000 times, Rohan pulls Aanya close. "I love you," he says, the words echoing in the mirrored room, multiplying like the light. Anya's breath catches. They haven't said it yet, haven't put that name to this feeling, though she's known for weeks that's what it is. "I love you too," she whispers back, and they kiss surrounded by their own reflections, in a palace built for a queen centuries ago, creating their own small moment of history. The weekend passes too quickly. They eat dal bati churma at a rooftop restaurant while watching the city lights come on. They visit the city palace, wandering through museums full of royal artifacts. They shop in Johari Bazaar, haggling good-naturedly with shopkeepers. They take a sunrise walk around Jal Mahal, the water palace that seems to float in the middle of Mansagar Lake, and watch peacocks display their feathers in the early morning light. On their last evening, sitting on the terrace of their hotel with Rajasthani folk music playing somewhere in the distance, Rohan asks, "Where should we go next?" "Next? I want to travel with you. Want to see India through your eyes. You mentioned once that your novel is about a woman discovering herself through travel. What cities did you choose for her?" Aanya smiles, touched that he remembered this detail. "Varanasi, for spirituality. Goa for freedom. Kerala for peace. Calcutta for culture. And back to Mumbai for home. Let's do it. Let's visit all those places. Maybe not all at once, but over time. We'll make our own story while you write yours." It's a beautiful idea, romantic and ambitious, and Aanya loves him even more for suggesting it. They do make it to Goa in December, during Anya's birthday week. The beaches are perfect, white sand, blue water, palm trees swaying in the breeze. They stay in a small hotel in Palolem, the kind of place where you can walk barefoot everywhere and breakfast is served with fresh fruit and strong coffee, and no one cares what time it is. Goa is different from the rest of India, more laid back, more Portuguese in its architecture and culture, more relaxed about everything. Aanya and Rohan rent a scooter and explore, visiting churches with whitewashed walls and golden altars, eating seafood at beach shacks with their toes in the sand, watching spectacular sunsets that paint the sky in shades of pink and orange and purple. On Anya's birthday, Rohan surprises her with a private dinner on the beach. A table for two set up right on the sand, lit by lanterns, the sound of waves providing music. They eat grilled fish and butter garlic prawns and drink wine while the stars come out one by one. "Make a wish," Rohan says when they bring out a small cake with candles flickering in the sea breeze. Anya closes her eyes. She thinks about what she wants: her novel finished and published, success for the bookstore, a life full of love and adventure and meaning. But mostly, she thinks about the man sitting across from her, about how unexpected this has all been, about how grateful she is. She opens her eyes and blows out the candles, and Rohan produces a small wrapped box. "I know we haven't been together that long," he says, suddenly nervous, "but I saw this and thought of you." Inside is a delicate silver necklace with a small charm, a book, its pages open, with a tiny diamond nestled in the center. "Rohan, it's perfect," she breathes. He helps her put it on, his fingers gentle at the nape of her neck, and she touches the charm, feeling its weight, its meaning. "Stories brought us together," he says. "Your story, my story, the story we're writing together. I wanted you to have something to remember that." She kisses him with tears in her eyes, tasting salt from the sea and sweetness from the wine and something else, something like forever. Part 7. The cracks begin to show. Breathe slowly now, let the story carry you gently, even as our characters face their challenges, knowing that all stories have their difficult moments before the happy ending comes. They return from Goa happy and sun-kissed and more in love than ever. But reality has a way of intruding on vacation bliss. Back in Mumbai, with work and family and daily life resuming, small stresses start to accumulate. Anya's novel is due to her publisher. She found an agent 6 months ago, a small miracle, and now there's a small press interested in publishing her book. But they want revisions, significant ones, and Anya is struggling to find time to work on them while managing the bookstore and maintaining her relationship. Rohan's firm wins a major project, a residential complex that could define his career. But it means longer hours, more stress, less time for anything else. He starts coming home exhausted, eyes bloodshot from staring at computer screens, barely able to have a conversation before falling into bed. They start to bicker about small things. He forgets to text that he'll be late for dinner, and she cooks a meal that goes cold. She makes plans with friends on a rare evening he has free, and he feels hurt that she didn't check with him first. They're both tired and stressed, and instead of being each other's refuge, they sometimes become each other's additional source of frustration. The thing about relationships, Anya is learning, is that they require maintenance. The beginning is easy, everything is new and exciting, you're both on your best behavior, small annoyances are charming quirks. But as you settle into real life, you have to choose to keep showing up, keep communicating, keep making the relationship a priority even when you're tired and stressed and have a million other things demanding your attention. One evening in January, after a particularly trying week for both of them, things come to a head. Anya is at Rohan's apartment, trying to work on her revisions while he finishes some drawings. They've barely spoken in 2 hours, both absorbed in their work, and the silence has shifted from comfortable to tense. "Do you want to get dinner?" Rohan finally asks, rubbing his eyes. "I can't. I need to finish this chapter tonight. Anya, you've been working all week. You need to eat. So do you," But I don't see you taking a break. That's different. This project has a deadline. And my novel doesn't? They stare at each other, and Anya can see the exhaustion in his face, can feel her own frustration bubbling over. I'm sorry, he says. I didn't mean it like that. Your book is important. But not as important as your project. I didn't say that. You implied it. Rohan runs his hands through his hair, a gesture she's come to recognize as a sign of his stress. What do you want from me, Anya? I'm working as hard as I can. This project could make my career. I can't just ignore it. And I can't just ignore my deadline. But somehow, we're supposed to ignore our relationship? That's not fair. Isn't it? When was the last time we had a real conversation? When was the last time we did something together that wasn't just collapsing in front of the TV because we're both too exhausted for anything else? The fight escalates from there, words flying that they don't mean but can't take back. Anya accuses him of not making her a priority. He accuses her of not understanding the pressure he's under. She says maybe they moved too fast. He says maybe she's looking for an excuse to pull away. It ends with Anya grabbing her laptop and her bag and leaving, slamming the door harder than she means to, tears streaming down her face as she catches an auto rickshaw home. They don't talk for 3 days. 3 days that feel like 3 weeks. Anya throws herself into her revisions, working until 2 and 3 in the morning, writing and deleting and writing again. Rohan buries himself in his project, staying at the office until the security guard has to remind him to go home. Both of them are miserable. Both of them are too proud to reach out first. Both of them lie awake at night, staring at their phones, typing messages they don't send. It's Priya who finally intervenes. She shows up at Anya's apartment on Saturday morning with coffee and pastries and a no-nonsense expression. Okay, spill. What happened? Anya, who has been holding it together all week, breaks down. She tells Priya everything, the fight, the things they said, the silence since then. So you both said things you didn't mean because you were stressed and tired, Priya summarizes. Welcome to relationships. This is normal. It doesn't feel normal. It feels terrible. Because you care about him. If you didn't care, the fight wouldn't hurt this much. But Anya, you have to communicate. You can't just shut down when things get hard. He shut down too. Then you be the bigger person. Someone has to go first. And honestly, from what you've told me, you're both just overwhelmed. You need to support each other, not attack each other. Anya knows Priya is right. She's been so focused on her own stress that she hasn't really considered what Rohan is dealing with. The project he's working on is huge, possibly the biggest thing he'll do in his career. Of course he's consumed by it. And she hasn't exactly been available either, so buried in her revisions that she barely looks up. That evening she texts him. Can we talk? The response comes immediately. Yes. Please. Can I come over? 20 minutes later, he's at her door, looking as exhausted and miserable as she feels. They stare at each other for a moment, and then they're both apologizing, words tumbling over each other, admitting fault and expressing hurt and trying to explain. They end up on her couch, Anya curled into Rohan's side, his arm around her shoulders, both of them emotionally wrung out but feeling better than they have in days. I'm sorry, he says for the 10th time. I didn't mean to make you feel like your work wasn't important. I know. And I'm sorry for not being more understanding about your project. I was so caught up in my own stress that I wasn't really seeing yours. We're both going through a lot right now. Maybe we need to be more intentional about making time for each other, even when we're busy. They talk for hours, really talk, about expectations and needs and how to support each other better. They make plans, at least one night a week that's just for them, no work allowed. Daily check-ins, even if it's just a 5-minute phone call. Honesty when they're feeling overwhelmed instead of letting resentment build. Relationships are work, Rohan says, playing with her hair. I knew that intellectually, but I'm learning it practically now. Good work though, Anya says. Worth it work. Definitely worth it. They're quiet for a moment, and then Anya asks the question that's been nagging at her since the fight. Do you think we moved too fast? We went from fake dating to real dating to saying I love you in just a few months. Do you think we moved too fast? She considers. Sometimes I wonder if we skipped steps, if we got so caught up in the romance of it all that we didn't build a strong enough foundation. I think we built our foundation while we were fake dating. Those weeks when we were getting to know each other, becoming friends, enjoying each other's company, that was the foundation. The fact that we called it fake didn't make it any less real. He's right, she realizes. They did build a friendship first, even if they were calling it something else. They genuinely like each other, enjoy spending time together, respect each other's dreams and ambitions. That's more foundation than a lot of relationships have. I love you, she says. Even when we fight, even when things are hard, I love you. I love you too. We're going to fight again. We're probably going to have moments where we drive each other crazy. But as long as we keep talking, keep being honest, keep choosing each other, we'll be okay. It's not a fairy tale moment. There's no soaring music, no perfect lighting. They're both exhausted and emotionally drained, sitting on a slightly lumpy couch in a small apartment, while Mumbai traffic honks outside. But it feels real and solid and true, and Anya thinks that maybe that's better than fairy tales anyway. Part 8: Festival of Lights. Let the story continue to unfold gently, like a flower opening to the sun, as you drift deeper into peaceful rest, secure in the knowledge that love, like sleep, comes sweetest when we stop fighting it and let ourselves fall. As winter deepens, bringing cooler air and clearer skies to Mumbai, preparations begin for Diwali, the Festival of Lights. It's one of India's biggest holidays, 5 days of celebration marking the triumph of light over darkness, good over evil. Homes are cleaned and decorated, new clothes are bought, sweets are prepared, and on the main night, lamps and candles are lit to welcome prosperity and happiness. This will be Anya and Rohan's first Diwali together as a real couple, and both families have expectations about how they'll spend it. Traditionally, Diwali is spent with family, and with 2 families now involved, logistics become complicated. My mother wants us to come for the Lakshmi Puja, Rohan says over coffee one morning. My mother is planning a big dinner and specifically asked if you'd be there, Anya responds. They look at each other, recognizing the dilemma. We could split the day, Rohan suggests. Start at my parents' house for the puja in the evening, then go to yours for dinner? That means we'll be rushed all day, not really present anywhere. Do you have a better solution? Anya thinks. What if we host? Small, just our immediate families. We can say it's a way for both families to celebrate together, since we're so serious about each other. Rohan considers this. My mother will probably be offended that we're not following tradition. My mother will probably be thrilled that I'm taking on hostess duties. She keeps worrying I don't know how to run a household. They decide to suggest it, preparing for resistance but hoping both families will appreciate the gesture. Surprisingly, both sets of parents agree, though Anya's mother insists on coming over early to help cook, and Rohan's mother sends a list of traditional items that absolutely must be included. The week before Diwali is a flurry of preparation. Anya and Rohan clean Rohan's apartment. It's bigger than Anya's, with enough space for everyone. They shop for decorations, stringing lights along the balcony, placing diyas, oil lamps, at every windowsill, hanging a traditional toran of mango leaves and marigolds at the door. They buy new clothes, a silk kurta for Rohan in deep burgundy, a beautiful lehenga for Anya in royal blue with gold embroidery. The day of Diwali, Anya wakes early at Rohan's apartment. She's been staying there all week to help prepare. The city is already buzzing with excitement, firecrackers going off despite the early hour, children running in the streets with sparklers, everyone caught up in the festive energy. Anya's mother arrives by 8 a.m., armed with recipes and opinions about everything from how to arrange the diyas to the proper way to make gulab jamun. Surprisingly, Rohan's mother arrives an hour later, and instead of competing, the two women bond over shared recipes and stories of past Diwalis. By afternoon, the apartment is transformed. Every surface holds sweets and snacks, laddus and barfi and namkeen and chakli. The smell of cooking fills the air, paneer makhni and dal makhni and biryani and naan. The decorations glow even in daylight, and the whole space feels magical. Rohan's father and Anya's father arrived together in the late afternoon, having bonded over similar frustrations with Mumbai traffic. Rohan's sister Riya comes with her boyfriend, a development that causes some family drama but is mostly overshadowed by the festivities. As the sun sets, they gather for the Lakshmi Puja, praying to the goddess of wealth and prosperity. They light diyas and place them around the apartment and on the balcony, hundreds of small flames that flicker and dance in the evening breeze. The city glows, every building and home lit up, and the view from Rohan's balcony is breathtaking, Mumbai transformed into a constellation of lights. After the puja, they eat, the dining table laden with food, everyone filling their plates multiple times, complimenting each dish, telling stories and laughing. Anya watches her mother and Rohan's mother chatting like old friends. She watches her father and Rohan's father debating politics with animation but good humor. She watches Rohan, beautiful in the lamplight, his eyes meeting hers across the table with a look that makes her heart full. After dinner, they go to the building's terrace to set off fireworks, sparklers and chakris and flower pots that shoot colored sparks into the sky. The children squeal with delight. The adults step back cautiously, and everywhere you look, the night is alive with light and color and celebration. Rohan takes Anya's hand, leading her to a quieter corner of the terrace while their families are distracted by a particularly impressive cascade of golden sparks. "Thank you for this," he says. "For bringing our families together, for making this happen. It was your idea too." "No, you made it happen. You always make things happen." He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small box. "I got you something." Inside is a delicate gold bracelet with tiny charms, a book, a chai cup, a lotus flower, and a small heart. "Each charm represents something about us," he explains. "Books, because that's where your heart lives. Chai, for all those conversations in cafes. The lotus for beauty rising from chaos, like Mumbai, like our relationship. And the heart, well, that one's obvious. Anya's eyes fill with tears. Rohan, this is too much. It's not enough. It'll never be enough. He fastens it around her wrist. Happy Diwali, Anya. She kisses him there on the terrace, with fireworks exploding across the Mumbai skyline, with their family's laughter drifting up from below, with the smell of smoke and jasmine and possibility in the air. When they rejoin the group, Anya's mother is looking at them with that particular smile mothers have when they think their children are finally on the right path. Rohan's mother is whispering something to Anya's mother, and both women look pleased. Later, after everyone has left and they're cleaning up the apartment, surrounded by the debris of celebration, Rohan's phone rings. It's his mother. That was lovely, Beta, she says, and Rohan puts her on speaker so Anya can hear. Your father and I were just saying what a wonderful match you two are. Thanks, Mum. In fact, we were thinking, maybe it's time to start thinking about the next step? You've been together almost a year now. Rohan and Anya exchange glances. Here it comes, the pressure they've been expecting. We were thinking, his mother continues, maybe next Diwali, we could be celebrating your engagement. Just a thought. No pressure, of course. After Rohan hangs up, they sit in silence for a moment. Next Diwali is a year away, Anya finally says. Is that too soon? Too late? I can't tell anymore. I don't know either. But I do know that I love you and I want a future with you. The timeline. She trails off, unsure how to finish. Doesn't matter as much as the destination. Rohan completes. We'll figure it out. Together. They fall asleep that night surrounded by the glow of dying diyas, the smell of incense still hanging in the air, their family's expectations sitting unspoken between them but not as heavy as they once were. Part 9, Career Crossroads. Let yourself sink even deeper into rest now, as our story moves through its challenges, knowing that every good tale must have its obstacles before the resolution comes. In February, opportunities arise for both Anya and Rohan that force them to think seriously about their futures and what they want. Rohan's firm is offered a major project in Bangalore, India's tech capital, a city 700 miles south of Mumbai. It's a massive opportunity, designing a sustainable residential complex that would be a showcase project, the kind of thing architects dream about. But it would require relocating for at least a year, possibly longer. It's the opportunity of a lifetime, he tells Anya over dinner at their favorite restaurant. But it means leaving Mumbai. Leaving you? Not leaving me, Anya says carefully. We'd figure something out. Long distance or you could come with me. The words hang in the air between them. They've been together for almost a year, but they don't live together, haven't made those kinds of long-term plans yet. Rohan, I can't just leave Mumbai. I have the bookstore, my friends, my life here. I know. I'm not asking you to give anything up. I'm just thinking out loud about possibilities. But the seed is planted, and over the next few days, Anya can't stop thinking about it. What would it mean to leave Mumbai? Could the bookstore function without her? Would she regret passing up the chance to move with him, to support his dream, to have an adventure together? Then her own opportunity arrives. A literary agent in Delhi, one of the biggest in the country, reaches out about her novel. The small press published it 2 months ago, and it's been getting good reviews, word of mouth building. This agent thinks it could be huge, thinks with proper marketing and a larger publisher, it could be a bestseller. But she needs Anya to commit to writing full-time, needs her to be available for publicity tours and book events and author appearances. You need to quit your job at the bookstore, the agent says over a phone call. Dedicate yourself entirely to writing. I know that's a big ask, but I really believe in your work. Anya sits in her apartment after the call, head spinning. Both she and Rohan are facing career-defining opportunities that would require major life changes. How do they navigate this? How do they support each other's dreams while building a life together? They meet that evening at the bandstand, walking along the promenade as the sun sets over the Arabian Sea. The air is cool and salty, and couples and families stroll past, enjoying the evening. So we're both at crossroads, Rohan says. Big ones. What do you want to do about your writing opportunity? Anya watches the waves crash against the rocks. Part of me is terrified. The bookstore is safe, predictable. I know what I'm doing there. But writing full-time? What if I fail? What if I can't produce another book? What if this one was a fluke? And the other part of you? Is excited. Scared but excited. It's what I've always dreamed of, being a real writer, not just someone who writes on the side. Then you should do it. Just like that? Anya, you're incredibly talented. Your novel is beautiful. If this agent believes in you, and you believe in your work, then yes, just like that. She stops walking, turning to face him. What about Bangalore? What are you going to do? He's quiet for a long moment, looking out at the sea. I don't know. The project is incredible. But leaving Mumbai, I'm not sure I want that. You can't turn down an opportunity like this because of me. You'll resent me eventually. I could never resent you. Rohan, be practical. This is your career. And you're my life. There's a difference. They walk in silence for a while, both lost in thought. Finally, Anya speaks. What if we both do it? You take the Bangalore project. I quit the bookstore and write full-time. We do long distance for a year. It's not ideal, but it's doable. People do it all the time. A year is a long time. It's also not forever. And we'd visit each other. Bangalore is only a short flight away. You really think we could make it work? I think if we're meant to be together, we can make anything work. And I think we're both going to regret it if we don't take these chances. Rohan pulls her into his arms, resting his chin on top of her head. When did you become the practical one? Someone has to be. You're too busy being romantic. They decide to do it. Both take their opportunities, support each other's dreams, and trust that their relationship is strong enough to handle the distance. It's scary and uncertain, but it also feels right, feels like they're being true to themselves and each other. Part 10. The Complication. Feel yourself drifting now, peacefully floating on the current of the story, safe and serene as we approach the heart of our tale. But before they can move forward with their plans, a complication arises that neither of them anticipated. Anya's mother calls one evening, her voice tight with emotion. Anya, beta, I need to talk to you about something. Can you come over? There's something in her tone that sends ice through Anya's veins. She rushes to her parents' house, finding both her mother and father sitting in the living room, looking serious. What's wrong? Is someone sick? No, nothing like that. Sit down, beta. Anya sits, her heart pounding. Her mother takes a deep breath. I ran into Mrs. Mehta today. You remember her, from the wedding where you met Rohan? Anya nods, not sure where this is going. She was talking about Rohan, saying how happy she is that you two found each other. And then she mentioned something. She said she heard from someone who heard from someone else that you and Rohan weren't actually a couple when you first started telling everyone you were dating. That it was some kind of arrangement to avoid matchmaking. Anya's blood runs cold. The lie they told, the secret they'd been keeping for almost a year, is coming back to haunt them. Mom, I can explain. Is it true? Her father asked quietly. Did you lie to us? There's no point in denying it. The truth is out. Yes. At first we met at the wedding and we agreed to pretend we were together to get our families off our backs about matchmaking. But then it became real. We fell in love for real. Everything since then has been genuine. Her mother's face crumbles. How could you lie to us like that? Do you know how we've been talking about you two, how excited we've been? How foolish we look now. You don't look foolish. We're really together, we really do love each other. The beginning was unconventional, but everything else is real. Unconventional? Her father's voice is sharp, hurt. You lied to your parents. You let us build relationships with his family based on a lie. It wasn't meant to hurt anyone. We just wanted some breathing room from all the pressure about getting married. So instead of being honest with us, you decided to manipulate us. Her mother's eyes are wet with tears. How can we trust anything you say now? The conversation goes downhill from there. Anya tries to explain, tries to make them understand, but her parents are hurt and angry and feeling betrayed. They ask her to leave, saying they need time to process. Anya calls Rohan from her car, crying so hard she can barely speak. He's at her apartment within 20 minutes, holding her while she sobs out the story. My parents know too, he says grimly. My mother called right before you did. She heard the same rumor. This is a disaster. It's bad, he agrees. But it's not the end. We knew this might come out eventually. We should have told them ourselves. They hate me. They think I'm manipulative and dishonest. They're hurt and surprised. They don't hate you. Give them time. But time doesn't make things better immediately. Both sets of parents feel betrayed, feel like they've been made fools of. The fact that Rohan and Anya are genuinely together now doesn't seem to matter. The lie taints everything. Worse, word spreads through the extended family. Aunties and uncles who congratulated them now whisper about how it was all fake. Cousins ask awkward questions. The whole thing becomes a family scandal, the kind of gossip that will be repeated at gatherings for years. Rohan's mother calls Anya directly, something she's never done before. I need to understand, she says, her voice formal and cold. Was any of it real? The dinners, the conversations, the way you looked at my son, was it all an act? No, Mrs. Kapoor. I promise you, everything you saw was real. We did start with an arrangement, but we fell in love. I love your son more than I can express. But you lied to all of us. You made us believe something that wasn't true. At the beginning, yes. But not after that. From the moment we became a real couple, everything was genuine. How am I supposed to know when the line was? When did the fake relationship end and the real one begin? How can I trust any timeline you give me? It's a fair question, one that Anya doesn't have a good answer for. The truth is, the line was blurry even to them. They were fake and real at the same time for a while, pretending for others while genuine feelings grew between them. The situation puts stress on their relationship in ways they didn't anticipate. They're trying to support each other through the family fallout while also preparing for their career moves. They're defending their relationship while also doubting themselves, wondering if the foundation was too shaky after all. They fight more. About small things, big things, everything. The stress of disapproval weighs on them, makes them snappish with each other. Maybe they're right, Anya says one night during a particularly bad argument. Maybe we were dishonest about more than just the beginning. Maybe we've been lying to ourselves about how strong we are. Don't say that, Rohan says, his voice tight. Don't let the disappointment make you doubt what we have. How can I not doubt it? Our whole relationship started as a lie. It started as a practical arrangement that turned into real love. That's not the same as a lie. Tell that to our families. The anger and hurt swirl between them, and Anya wonders if they'll survive this, if love is enough when everything else is falling apart. Part 11. The Grand Gesture. Let the story carry you now toward its resolution. Feel yourself relaxing completely, knowing that dawn always comes after the darkest night. It's Priya who finally talks sense into Anya. She shows up at Anya's apartment one Sunday morning with coffee and determination. Okay, enough moping, she announces, setting down the coffee and facing Anya with hands on hips. You and Rohan love each other, right? Yes, but... No buts. You love him. He loves you. Your families are upset because they feel betrayed, which is understandable. But the solution isn't to break up or punish yourselves. The solution is to show them how real your relationship is. How do we do that? By being brave. By being honest about everything, not just the fake dating, but why you did it, how it felt to be under so much pressure, how you fell in love despite not meaning to. By making them see that sometimes love comes in unexpected ways, and that doesn't make it less valid. What if they won't listen? Then you keep trying. You don't give up on the people you love, Anya. Not on Rohan, and not on your family. Priya's words stay with Anya. She calls Rohan that evening. We need to do something big, she says. Something that shows our families we're serious, that this is real. What did you have in mind? I'm not sure yet. But I know hiding and feeling guilty isn't working. We need to be proactive. They brainstorm together, considering and rejecting various ideas. Finally, Rohan suggests something that makes Anya's heart race with nervous excitement. What if we have an engagement party? He says. Not because our parents are pressuring us, but because we want to. We'll invite both families, all our friends, and we'll tell the whole story, the truth, all of it. The fake dating, the falling in love, everything. We'll show them that we're not ashamed of how we started, and we're choosing each other despite all the complications. That's either brilliant or crazy. Probably both. There's one problem with that plan. What? We're not actually engaged. There's a pause on the line. Then Rohan says, We could be. If you wanted to be. Anya's breath catches. Rohan Kapoor, are you proposing to me over the phone? God, no. I'm much more romantic than that. I'm just saying, if I were to propose hypothetically, what would you say? Hypothetically? Hypothetically. Anya closes her eyes, thinking about everything they've been through. The fake dating, the real falling in love, the fights and makeups, the family drama, the career decisions. It's been messy and complicated and sometimes painful. But through it all, Rohan has been steady and supportive and genuine. He believes in her dreams, challenges her to be better, makes her laugh when she wants to cry. Hypothetically, she says slowly, I would say yes. Good to know. But for the record, if you actually propose over the phone, I'm saying no on principle. She can hear the smile in his voice. Noted. 2 days later, Rohan asks Anya to meet him at the bookstore after closing time. When she arrives, the shop is lit entirely by candles, hundreds of them, their flames dancing in the evening breeze from the open windows. The shelves full of books glow in the warm light, and someone, Rohan, she realizes, has scattered rose petals across the floor. He's standing in the center of the store, in the reading nook where they've spent countless afternoons, looking nervous and hopeful and so handsome it makes her heart ache. Anya Sharma, he says as she walks toward him, her eyes already filling with tears. I had this whole speech planned, but now that you're here, all I can think is how much I love you. Rohan. Let me finish. Please. He takes a deep breath. We started in the strangest way possible. Fake dating to avoid family pressure seems like something from a movie, not real life. But every step of the way, even when we were pretending, there was something real underneath. The conversations were real. The laughter was real. The friendship was real. And somewhere along the way, the love became real too. He drops to one knee, pulling a small velvet box from his pocket. I don't want to do long distance. I don't want to be apart from you. I want to wake up next to you every morning and fall asleep beside you every night. I want to support your writing and celebrate your successes and help you through your doubts. I want to build a life with you, in whatever city makes sense for both our dreams. I want children who have your love of books and my architectural obsession. I want to grow old together, arguing about which city in India we should retire to. Tears are streaming down Anya's face now, and she's smiling so wide it hurts. I want forever with you, Anya. Will you marry me? The ring is perfect, a simple diamond on a platinum band, elegant and understated and exactly her style. She nods, unable to speak, and he slips it on her finger before standing and pulling her into his arms. They kiss surrounded by books and candlelight, and the smell of old paper and new beginnings. And Anya thinks that this is what happiness feels like. This fullness in her chest, this certainty that she's exactly where she's meant to be. So about that engagement party, Rohan says when they finally pull apart. We should probably actually plan it now. Anya laughs, wiping her eyes. Give me a week to get used to wearing this ring. Then we'll face our families together. Part 12. The truth will set you free. Continue to breathe deeply, letting the story's resolution wash over you like a gentle tide, bringing peace and closure as you drift toward sleep. They plan the engagement party for 3 weeks later, giving themselves time to prepare and their families time to process the invitation. Some relatives call to congratulate them, though the congratulations feel strained. Others don't respond at all. Anya's parents agree to come, though her mother's voice is still cool on the phone. Rohan's parents also agree, with his mother adding, I hope you have an explanation for all of this. We do, Rohan assures her. A full explanation. We're not hiding anything anymore. They decide to hold the party at a small banquet hall in Bandra, nothing too elaborate, just close family and friends. Aanya wears a rose-pink sari that makes her feel beautiful and confident. Rohan wears a black sherwani with subtle gold embroidery. They look like a couple from a wedding magazine, but both of them are terrified. What if this makes things worse? Aanya whispers as guests start arriving. Then at least we'll have been honest. No more secrets, no more half-truths. Whatever happens, we face it together. The hall fills with people, their families, Priya and Vikram, Riya and her boyfriend, friends from work and college, the extended relatives who have been gossiping about them. The atmosphere is tense, everyone wondering what's going to happen. Once everyone is seated, Rohan and Aanya stand at the front of the room. Anya's hands are shaking, so Rohan takes one of them, lacing his fingers through hers. "Thank you all for coming," Rohan begins. "We know there's been a lot of talk about us lately, a lot of confusion about our relationship. We asked you here tonight because we want to tell you our story, the whole story, from the beginning." And they do. They tell about meeting at Mira's wedding, about the lassi incident that made them laugh instead of arguing. They explain the pressure they were both feeling from well-meaning families to find someone, to settle down, to stop being so picky. They admit to agreeing to fake date as a solution to that pressure. "We thought we were being clever," Aanya says, her voice steady despite her nerves. "We thought we'd get everyone off our backs and then just quietly go our separate ways after a few months. But something unexpected happened. We fell in love," Rohan continues. "Really, genuinely fell in love. The conversations we had while we were supposedly faking it, those were real. The time we spent together, that was real. The feelings that developed, those were real." They explain how the fake relationship became real, how they struggled with telling their families the truth, how they convinced themselves that the end result, genuine love, mattered more than the unconventional beginning. "We were wrong about that," Aanya says, looking directly at her mother. "We should have been honest from the start. We hurt you by lying, made you feel foolish, and that wasn't fair. We're deeply sorry for that. But we're not sorry for how we found each other," Rohan adds. "Because sometimes love comes in unexpected ways. Sometimes you have to take an unconventional path to find the right person. And Aanya is absolutely the right person for me. And Rohan is the right person for me," Aanya agrees. "He supports my dreams, challenges me to be better, makes me laugh when I want to cry. He's my best friend and my partner, and I want to spend the rest of my life with him." The room is completely silent. Aanya can see her mother wiping her eyes, though whether it's from sadness or something else, she can't tell. Rohan's mother looks thoughtful. His father is nodding slowly. "We understand if some of you can't forgive us for how we started," Rohan says. "We understand if you're disappointed or angry. But we hope you can see that what we have now is genuine, and that we're committed to being honest from this point forward. We love each other," Aanya finishes simply. "And we're choosing to build a life together. We hope you'll choose to be part of that life, but we understand if you need time." They sit down, and for a moment, no one speaks. Then Anya's father stands up. "May I say something?" he asks. Aanya nods, holding her breath. "When Aanya told us she wanted to move out on her own, we were upset," he begins. "It felt like she was rejecting us, rejecting our values. But over time, I realized she wasn't rejecting us, she was finding herself. She needed space to become her own person, and as much as that was hard for us as parents, it was necessary for her as an individual. He pauses, looking at his daughter with such love that Anya's eyes fill with tears. This situation is similar. The way you two started was unconventional, yes. The lying was wrong, yes. But I'm beginning to understand why you felt you needed to do it. Your mother and I, we love you so much that sometimes we push too hard. We want you to be happy, but we assumed we knew what would make you happy. We didn't listen when you tried to tell us you needed to find your own path. He turns to Rohan. I can see how much you love my daughter. I've seen it every time you look at her, every time you talk about her, every time you support her dreams. The beginning of your relationship may have been unusual, but the love is real. Even we could see that, we were just too hurt to acknowledge it. Anya's mother stands now, dabbing at her eyes with her dupatta. I'm still upset about the lying, she says, her voice thick with emotion. I wish you had trusted us enough to be honest. But your father is right. We didn't make it easy for you to be honest. We were so focused on what we thought you should want that we didn't hear what you were actually saying. She walks over to Anya and Rohan, taking both their hands. I want you to be happy, Beta. Both of you. If you make each other happy, then I will learn to be happy with how you found each other. Rohan's mother stands next, and Anya braces herself. Mrs. Kapoor has always been the most traditional, the most concerned with propriety, and what people think. I was very angry when I first heard about your arrangement, she says, looking at them seriously. I felt foolish, like I'd been tricked. But then I thought about how happy Rohan has been this past year. He smiles more, laughs more, talks about the future with excitement instead of obligation. That's not the behavior of someone in a fake relationship. She smiles, small but genuine. You two have something special. I wish you'd started it differently, but I can't deny that you've found something real. And that's what matters in the end, that it's real, that it's built on friendship and respect and genuine affection. One by one, family members stand to offer support, to share their thoughts, to welcome Anya and Rohan's relationship with open hearts. Not everyone is completely comfortable. Some relatives are still skeptical, still hurt, but the majority choose acceptance over judgment. Priya hugs Anya tightly, whispering, Told you it would work out. You were right. As usual. Remember that next time you're spiraling into anxiety. The party transforms from tense gathering to genuine celebration. Music starts playing, food is served, people relax and laugh and dance. Anya and Rohan move through the crowd, accepting congratulations, thanking people for coming, feeling lighter than they have in weeks. Late in the evening, Anya finds herself on the balcony with her mother, looking out at the Mumbai skyline. I really am sorry, Mom, she says quietly. For lying, for making you worry, for all of it. Her mother takes her hand. I know you are. And I'm sorry too, for pushing too hard, for not listening better, for making you feel like you couldn't be honest with me. I love him. I really do. I know, Beta. And he loves you. That's very clear. She squeezes Anya's hand. You know what I see when I look at you too? I see partners. Real partners, who support each other and challenge each other and make each other better. That's what I always wanted for you, not just marriage, but partnership. Even if we found it in a weird way? Especially because you found it in a weird way. It means you were willing to think outside the box, to be creative, to take a chance. Those are good qualities in both life and love. They hug, and Anya feels something release in her chest, something she didn't realize she was holding on to. Part 13: New Beginnings. Let yourself drift even deeper now, completely relaxed, as our story moves toward its gentle conclusion, like a boat finding its harbor after a long journey. With their family's blessings secured, Anya and Rohan can finally focus on their futures. They have serious conversations about careers and geography, and what they both want from life. Rohan decides to take the Bangalore project but negotiates for it to be only 8 months instead of a year. The firm agrees, especially after Rohan proposes bringing in Anya's insights on community spaces and reading rooms for the residential complex. Anya accepts the writing opportunity, giving her notice at the bookstore with mixed emotions. The owner, understanding and supportive, promises her job will be there if writing doesn't work out, though they both know it will. They decide not to do long distance. Instead, Anya will move to Bangalore with Rohan. She can write anywhere, and the change of scene might be good for her creativity. They'll rent an apartment together, their first real home as a couple. Are you sure? Rohan asks for the 10th time. I don't want you to feel like you're giving up your life for mine. I'm not giving up anything. I'm choosing to build our life together. There's a difference. They spend March packing up Rohan's apartment and Anya's, combining their belongings, figuring out whose furniture to keep and what to donate. It's domestic and boring and absolutely wonderful. In April, they moved to Bangalore. The city is greener than Mumbai, with wider roads and a cooler climate. It feels different, less chaotic, more planned. Their new apartment is in Indiranagar, a trendy neighborhood full of cafes and bookstores and young professionals. It's modern and bright, with big windows and a small balcony where they have morning coffee. Anya sets up a writing space in the second bedroom, a desk facing the window, shelves for her books, a comfortable chair for reading. She establishes a routine: write in the mornings, edit in the afternoons, read in the evenings. The words flow more easily here, away from the pressures and distractions of Mumbai. She starts a second novel, the story coming to her fully formed, as if it's been waiting for the right moment to emerge. Rohan throws himself into his project, designing community spaces that incorporate green areas and reading nooks and places for people to gather. He comes home excited about his work, showing Anya drawings and models, asking for her input on the library he's designing for the complex. They explore Bangalore together on weekends, visiting the botanical gardens, eating masala dosas at MTR, watching movies at old single-screen theaters, hiking up Nandi Hills to watch the sunrise. They make friends with their neighbors, join a book club, host dinner parties in their new home. It's not always easy. They have moments of missing Mumbai, of feeling homesick for the city that shaped them. They have fights about whose turn it is to do dishes, about Rohan working too late, about Anya being too absorbed in her writing to notice he's trying to have a conversation. But they also have moments of perfect domestic happiness, cooking together while dancing to old Bollywood songs, reading side by side on lazy Sunday afternoons, falling asleep tangled together after making love. In July, they visit Mumbai for a long weekend. Both families have dinner together again, and this time, there's no tension, no awkwardness. Just warmth and laughter and genuine affection. When's the wedding? Anya's mother asks, because of course she does. Anya and Rohan exchange glances. We've been thinking about December, Rohan says. After my Bangalore project wraps up. Maybe a destination wedding somewhere? Small, intimate, just close family and friends? Kerala, Anya suggests. Remember we talked about visiting? We could get married there, by the backwaters, with palm trees and traditional boats. Both mothers look ready to argue for something bigger, more traditional, but both fathers intervene. Let them have the wedding they want, Anya's father says. It's their day. As long as we're invited, we're happy, Rohan's father adds. They leave Mumbai feeling settled, feeling like everything is falling into place. August brings news that Anya's first novel is being nominated for an award. It doesn't win, but the nomination is huge, bringing more attention and more readers. Her publisher is thrilled, already planning for her second book. September brings completion of Rohan's project. The residential complex is beautiful, sustainable, thoughtful. The reading room he designed is featured in an architecture magazine. His firm is impressed, talking about promotions and more responsibility. October brings decisions. With Rohan's project complete, they could return to Mumbai or stay in Bangalore or go somewhere else entirely. They talk through options, weighing pros and cons. What do you want? Rohan asks. I want to be where you are. Where we can both thrive. Where we can build the life we've been planning. They decide on Mumbai. It's home, it's where their families are, it's the city that brought them together. Rohan can work from the Mumbai office, and Anya can write anywhere. They'll look for a new apartment, bigger than either of their old ones, something that's theirs together from the start. November is packing and planning and preparing for the wedding. Both families converge on Mumbai to help, and somehow, miraculously, everyone gets along. The mothers coordinate on outfits and guest lists. The fathers handle logistics and payments. Riyad takes charge of designing the invitations, creating something modern and beautiful that reflects Anya and Rohan's style. Priya, now 7 months pregnant and glowing, insists on being involved in every detail despite Anya's protests that she should be resting. Are you kidding? Planning your wedding is keeping me sane. If I have to sit at home one more day watching pregnancy videos, I'll lose my mind. They choose a resort in Kumarakom, Kerala, right on the backwaters. The venue is magical. Traditional Kerala architecture with sloping red-tiled roofs, open pavilions, lush gardens, and houseboats moored at private docks. Guests can arrive by boat if they choose, gliding through palm-lined canals to reach the resort. The wedding will be small by Indian standards, only 80 guests instead of the usual 300 or 400. Close family, dear friends, the people who matter most. 3 days of celebrations, starting with the mehendi ceremony, then the sangeet, and finally the wedding itself. Part 14. The Wedding. Feel yourself sinking deeper still, completely at peace, as we arrive at the celebration of love that our story has been building toward all along. They arrive in Kerala a week before the wedding, wanting time to settle in, to be present, to not rush through what should be a beautiful, meaningful experience. The weather is perfect, warm but not hot, with a gentle breeze coming off the water. The air smells of jasmine and coconut, and the earthy scent of the backwaters. Everything is green and lush, so different from Mumbai's urban landscape. Anya's mehendi ceremony is held on a Thursday evening, on a pavilion overlooking the water. The mehendi artist is famous, her designs intricate and beautiful. She covers Anya's hands and forearms in elaborate patterns, peacocks and flowers and paisleys, Hidden within the design the initials R and A intertwined. The women gather around, singing traditional songs, laughing and telling stories. Anya's mother and Rohan's mother sit on either side of her, both women smiling, both clearly emotional. Priya oversees everything with the authority of a general, making sure the photographer captures every moment, that the food is served on time, that everyone is having fun. As the henna dries on Anya's hands, staining her skin the deep reddish brown that will last for weeks, she feels overwhelmed with happiness. A year ago, she was single and stressed about family pressure and unsure of her future. Now she's here, in Kerala, about to marry the love of her life, surrounded by people who support and celebrate them. Friday night is the Sangeet, the musical celebration where both families compete to see who can perform the best songs and dances. It's held in the resort's largest hall, decorated with fairy lights and flowers, with a stage set up at one end. Rohan's side goes first, performing an elaborate dance routine to a medley of Bollywood songs, complete with costume changes and choreographed moves that they've clearly been practicing for weeks. Rohan himself dances with his sister and parents, looking both graceful and slightly embarrassed, and Anya falls in love with him all over again, seeing him be such a good sport. Anya's side counters with their own performance, equally elaborate, with Anya's cousins acting out the story of how she and Rohan met, complete with someone dressed up as a giant glass of mango lassi. The whole hall erupts in laughter, and even Rohan admits it's hilarious. The evening dissolves into improvised performances, with various relatives getting up to sing or dance or tell jokes. The joy is infectious, and by the end of the night, both sides have decided it's a tie because everyone is having too much fun to compete. Late that night, after the official celebrations have ended, Anya and Rohan sneak away to one of the houseboats moored at the dock. They lie on the deck, looking up at the stars, so much brighter here than in Mumbai, where city lights drown them out, and talk about everything and nothing. "Tomorrow's the big day," Rohan says, playing with her fingers, careful not to smudge her mehendi. "Are you nervous?" "Terrified. But also the most certain I've ever been about anything." "Me too." She turns on her side to look at him. "Do you ever think about how we started? The fake dating, all of that?" "Sometimes. Mostly I just think about how lucky I am that you spilled lassi on me." She laughs. "Best accident of my life." "Mine too." They're quiet for a moment, listening to the gentle lap of water against the boat, the distant sounds of night birds, the rustle of palm fronds in the breeze. "I'm glad we told our families the truth," Anya says. "Even though it was hard. It feels right, starting our marriage with honesty." "Everything about this feels right," Rohan agrees. "Even the messy parts, the fights, the obstacles. It all led us here." Saturday morning dawns clear and beautiful. Anya wakes early in her room, her hands still adorned with mehendi, her heart fluttering with excitement and nerves. Her mother and Priya arrive with breakfast and an army of helpers, makeup artists and hairstylists, and the woman who will drape her wedding sari. The sari is a work of art, deep red silk with gold embroidery, traditional and timeless. It belonged to Anya's grandmother, worn at her own wedding 60 years ago, carefully preserved and now being passed down to the next generation. Wearing it feels significant, like carrying her family's love and history with her as she starts her own chapter. The makeup artist works her magic, enhancing Anya's features without making her look like someone else. The hairstylist weaves jasmine flowers into an elaborate braid. The jewelry, gold necklace, earrings, bangles, mantika, nose ring, is all traditional, all meaningful, pieces collected from various relatives who wanted to contribute something to her bridal look. When she's finally ready and looks at herself in the mirror, Anya barely recognizes herself. She looks like a bride from a painting, like every Indian girl's dream of what she'll look like on her wedding day. But underneath the glamour, she's still herself, Anya who loves books and chai, who dreams big dreams, who found love in the most unexpected way. "You're beautiful, Beta," her mother says, tears streaming down her face despite her best efforts. "Your grandmother would be so proud to see you wearing her sari." The wedding ceremony is held in the resort's garden, right at the edge of the backwaters. A traditional mandap has been set up, 4 pillars covered in flowers, a canopy of marigolds and roses, a sacred fire at the center. Chairs are arranged in semicircles around it, and the guests are already seated, everyone dressed in their finest clothes, everyone smiling in anticipation. As Anya walks toward the mandap, escorted by her father and uncles, she sees Rohan waiting for her. He's wearing a cream sherwani with gold embroidery, and when he sees her, his face transforms with such love and awe that she has to blink back tears. The ceremony is long and beautiful and steeped in tradition. The pundit chants Sanskrit mantras that have been spoken at weddings for thousands of years. They exchange garlands, symbolizing acceptance of each other. They make offerings to the sacred fire. They take the 7 steps around the fire, each step a promise, for nourishment, for strength, for prosperity, for happiness, for family, for longevity, for friendship and understanding. As they circle the fire for the 7th time, making their final promise to be friends and partners for life, Anya thinks about their journey. From a fake arrangement to real love, from strangers to friends to lovers to partners. Every step brought them here, to this moment, making promises they both intend to keep. When the ceremony concludes and the pundit declares them married, the guests erupt in cheers and applause. Rose petals rain down on them, flower garlands are placed around their necks, and everyone surges forward to offer congratulations and blessings. Anya and Rohan stand together, hands clasped, smiling so wide their faces hurt, surrounded by everyone they love, in the place where they chose to begin their forever. The reception that evening is perfect, delicious food, heartfelt speeches, dancing that goes on until late in the night. Priya gives a speech that has everyone crying and laughing in equal measure, talking about Anya's journey from single and stubborn to happily married. Rohan's father speaks about his son's dedication and love. Anya's father talks about letting go and trusting your children to find their own path. But the best moment comes when Rohan takes the microphone for his speech. "I've been thinking about what to say all week," he begins, looking at Anya. "About how we met, about falling in love, about why I knew you were the one. And I kept coming back to one thing, stories." He pauses, smiling. Anya loves stories. She reads them, writes them, surrounds herself with them. And when I met her, I realized I wanted to be part of her story. Not just a chapter, not just a footnote, but a co-author, someone who helps write the narrative of our lives together. "We started with a plot twist," he continues, and the guests who know their history laugh. "We didn't follow the conventional rom-com structure. We jumped around, got things out of order, had to go back and rewrite parts. But that's what made our story ours. It's messy and real and sometimes awkward, and it's perfect because it's authentic. He looks around at their families, their friends, all the witnesses to their journey. Thank you all for being part of our story, for accepting our unconventional beginning, for supporting us through challenges, for being here to celebrate this new chapter. He turns back to Anya, taking her hand. And thank you, Anya, for agreeing to co-author the rest of this story with me. I promise to make it a page-turner. They dance together as husband and wife for the first time, swaying to a slow song while camera flashes go off and their loved ones watch. Anya rests her head on Rohan's shoulder, feeling the solid warmth of him, the steady beat of his heart, the rightness of being in his arms. Did you ever imagine, that night at Mira's wedding, that we'd end up here? She asked softly. No, he admits. But I'm so glad we did. Me too. Even though I ruined your sherwani. Best sherwani I ever lost. She laughs, and he spins her, and the song continues, and life continues, and their story continues, written one day at a time, one choice at a time, one moment of love at a time. Part 15. Epilogue 1 year later. Let this be the last gentle wave carrying you toward sleep, the final soft notes of a lullaby, the closing words of a story told with love. 1 year after their Kerala wedding, Anya and Rohan sit on the balcony of their Mumbai apartment, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and pink and gold. The Arabian Sea stretches out before them, vast and beautiful, and somewhere in the distance, fishing boats bob on the waves. Their apartment is in Bandra, not far from where they both grew up, close to both sets of parents, but still their own space. It's larger than either of their old apartments, with room for Rohan's drafting table and Anya's writing desk, for the hundreds of books they've accumulated, for the life they're building together. Anya's second novel came out 3 months ago, and is doing even better than the first. She has a book tour scheduled, readings lined up, interview requests piling up. But tonight she's exactly where she wants to be, here, with her husband, watching the day end. Rohan's firm made him a partner, the youngest in the company's history. He's working on a project close to his heart, converting old mill buildings into community spaces with libraries and art studios and gathering places for neighborhoods that need them. They've been married a year, and it's been everything, wonderful and challenging and sometimes frustrating and always worth it. They've learned how to fight fair, how to apologize sincerely, how to support each other's dreams while building shared dreams. They've learned that love isn't just the butterfly feelings of the beginning, but also the steady companionship of ordinary days, the choice to show up for each other even when it's hard. So, Rohan says, pulling Anya closer, what should our next adventure be? I've been thinking about that, actually. She takes a deep breath. How would you feel about adding a new character to our story? Rohan looks at her, confused for a moment, and then understanding dawns. His eyes widen. Anya, are you? She nods, smiling. Early days still. I wanted to be sure before telling you. But yes. There's going to be 3 of us. He pulls her into his arms, laughing and crying at the same time, and they sit there on the balcony as the sun sinks below the horizon and the sky darkens and the stars begin to appear. We're going to be parents, he says, wonder in his voice. We're going to be terrible at it at first, Anya says practically. We'll make mistakes and panic and not know what we're doing. But we'll figure it out together. Just like everything else. Just like everything else. She agrees. They sit in comfortable silence, watching the city lights come on one by one, turning Mumbai into a constellation of possibilities. Somewhere below, life goes on, people rushing home from work, street vendors selling their last items of the day, children playing in building courtyards, families gathering for dinner. The city breathes and moves and lives, indifferent to their small happiness but also somehow containing it, making space for one more love story among millions. Do you think, Anya says softly, that if we could go back to that wedding, to the moment we decided to fake date, would you do it the same way? Rohan considers. I think I would. Because every choice we made, even the questionable ones, led us here. To this moment, to this life, to this family we're creating. And I wouldn't change any of that. Not even the part where your family was mad at us for months. Not even that. It taught us something important, that honesty matters, that we have to be real with the people we love, even when it's uncomfortable. Anya leans her head against his shoulder, feeling contentment settle over her like a warm blanket. A year ago, she was a bride in Kerala, making promises under a canopy of flowers. Tonight, she's a wife, a writer, a soon-to-be mother, sitting with her partner in the city she loves, living a life that's messy and real and absolutely beautiful. I love our story, she says. All of it, the fake parts and the real parts and the parts we're still writing. Me too. Though I think the best chapters are still ahead of us. New baby, new adventures, new challenges. New everything. But we'll face it together. Always together. As the night deepens and the stars grow brighter, they remain on the balcony, talking about names for the baby, about how to tell their families, about converting the spare room into a nursery, about the 1,001 details that come with preparing for a new life. But mostly they just sit together in comfortable silence, two people who found each other in the most unlikely way, who took a fake arrangement and turned it into real love, who learned that sometimes the best stories are the ones you don't plan, the ones that surprise you, the ones that unfold exactly as they're meant to. Mumbai stretches out around them, chaotic and beautiful and endlessly full of stories. And theirs is just one among millions, but it's theirs, and it's real, and it's enough. In the distance, a ship's horn sounds from the harbor. A plane passes overhead, lights blinking, carrying its passengers toward new destinations. The world turns, time passes, and life continues its endless cycle of beginnings and endings and everything in between. Anya closes her eyes, feeling the evening breeze on her face, Rohan's steady presence beside her, the first flutters of new life within her. She thinks about the journey that brought her here, the pressure to marry, the fake dating scheme, the gradual falling in love, the family drama, the reconciliation, the wedding in Kerala, the year of marriage, and now this new adventure beginning. It wasn't a straight path. It wasn't always easy. But it was theirs, and every step was necessary, every challenge worthwhile, every moment of difficulty leading to something better. Thank you, she whispers. For what? Rohan asks. For saying yes. That night at the wedding, when I proposed the fake dating idea. You could have said no, walked away, found someone else. But you said yes, and it changed everything. I should be thanking you. You spilled lassi on my sherwani and turned out to be the love of my life. Best accidental meeting ever. They laugh, soft and content, and Anya thinks that this is happiness, not a constant state of excitement or perfection, but these quiet moments of connection, of being known and loved, of looking forward to the future while being grateful for the present. Somewhere in the apartment, Her laptop sits closed on the desk, her current novel half finished, waiting for tomorrow's writing session. Somewhere in Rohan's office, blueprints wait for his return, buildings waiting to be designed, spaces waiting to be created. But tonight, all of that can wait. Tonight, they have each other, and the stars above, and the city below, and a whole life stretching ahead of them, full of possibility and promise and love. Anya opens her eyes one more time, looking at the Mumbai skyline, at the place where she grew up and fell in love and built her life. She thinks about the woman she was a year ago, uncertain, pressured, looking for an escape from expectations. And she thinks about the woman she is now, confident, loved, excited about the future. "Tell me a story," Rohan says, using the words that have become their evening ritual. "Once upon a time," Anya begins, her voice soft in the darkness, "there was a girl who loved books and a boy who loved buildings. They met at a wedding and made a deal that changed both their lives. It wasn't love at first sight, it was something better. It was friendship that grew into love, fake that became real, convenience that transformed into commitment. And they lived happily ever after?" Rohan prompts. "They lived," Anya corrects gently. "Happily, yes, but not perfectly. They fought and made up. They supported each other's dreams and frustrated each other sometimes. They learned and grew and built a life together. And that, in the end, was better than any fairy tale. Because it was real. The best stories always are," Rohan agrees. They sit together as the night deepens, as Mumbai settles into its evening rhythms, as the world spins on. Two people among millions, a love story among countless others, but theirs, uniquely theirs, written one day at a time with honesty and humor and hope. And if you listen carefully, you might hear other stories on the wind, of other couples finding their way, other families learning to accept, other hearts opening to unexpected love. Because Mumbai, like any great city, is full of stories, and every single one of them matters. But tonight, this story belongs to Anya and Rohan. And as they finally head inside, leaving the balcony and the stars and the sea behind, they carry with them the knowledge that their story is far from over. It's just beginning. The best chapters are still ahead. And they'll write them together, one beautiful, imperfect, absolutely real day at a time. The end.